Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Daniel Talbott on the line, and he is with Orphan Andy Films, and he's a screenwriter, director, producer, and film curator, and this episode is part of our AFM series where we bring you the best of AFM, the American film market, those that attended, participated, and really all of the above. So first thing first, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
All right, so a lot to talk about today. I definitely want to get into what you're doing at Orphan Andy Films and also talk about queer filmmakers in Hollywood, what's going on there, how AFM supports queer filmmakers, and also let's just chop it up about Hollywood in general, what your feelings are about it. But let's kick it off with getting into AFM. Have you been in the past? Is this your first time? Talk to me about the event.
I've definitely been in the past, and this was my first time at the Fairmount because it's been at Santa Monica in the past. And
it was nice, right?
Last year.
Yeah,
I thought Fairmount was great, so it was perfect.
How'd you like that? Yeah. How'd you like the location and everything else? It was legit, huh?
I thought it was amazing, and it was so great to be so close to the screening room and the food options, and you could run out and have a meeting kind of at the mall and then come back and do another meeting at the Fairmount. It was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so too.
But it was awesome.
What did you like about it this year? What were you doing there? Talk to me about what your game plan was. Everybody's got their plan when they go.
Yeah, I come at it all as definitely a filmmaker, and it tends to be more the business side of filmmaking. But I think it's really important, especially with everything facing the industry right now, for filmmakers and film artists to get a seat at that table and to start having conversations with distributors and financiers and sales agents and not be afraid of that and actually find kind of collaboration with them in that, because I think I think everyone's facing kind of tough times in Hollywood right now, and the more we can kind of come together and the more knowledge you have, I think the better prepared you are to deal with that.
Yeah, I think what was interesting, too, about speaking of people, facing tough times, you couldn't, with the energy that was in that place, you couldn't tell, to me. It seemed like it felt like it was back. It was a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of hope, a lot of energy, people doing deals, people doing business. Did you get that impression?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it felt really different a couple of years ago after the strikes, and it felt really positive, and people were excited. They were talking about film. I thought it was a blast. It was. I told my friends it was like a Walmart on Black Friday for rabid film people, and it's awesome.
And I think the mixture of seeing the creatives, the business side, the sales side, everything in one place, I think it makes for an interesting energy. When you're in one, if you're just all on the creative side, it's one thing. If you're all on the sales side, it's another type of feel. But when you mix all of them together, it's a whole different concoction.
Yeah, no, it makes you just much smarter about how to make film all across the board. Mm-hmm. Which I think is great.
Let's get into what you're doing. Tell us about Orphan Andy Films. So let's start there.
Yeah, Orphan Andy Films it's actually, I've always wanted to start a company that focuses on kind of queer American stories that hopefully we haven't really seen yet. So, I love Bros, and I love all the stuff that's out there. There's a lot of inclusion and all that, but there's also just so many of my friends who are part of the queer community. I haven't seen their stories yet. And also, especially in rural places and places, red states, and just places around the country, there's just so many different stories that I'm not seeing. And so it's a company that really wants to focus on kind of be a film co-op for queer filmmakers that also have different stories to tell and stories that we haven't seen. And so I want to get behind that and try to produce those in a very micro budget, very smart way so that these stories can get out there and also hopefully thrive and not be made for so much money that they can't thrive in a way.
Yeah. It seems, and please correct me if I'm off on this because it's just being the outside looking in, it seems like with more platforms just available on the streaming side and things like that, if you can create content that has a certain niche or a certain appeal and there's certain type of stories, like the ones that you've identified that you feel haven't been told yet or aren't being told, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. Am I off on that?
No, I think there's huge opportunity, and I actually think, especially because there's so much content and there's so many ways to see it, that actually I think being specific to a specific audience is actually really helpful. So you're talking 15 to 20% of the world population somehow identifies as some form of queer. So I'm that's a massive audience around the world that I'm we could tap into that, you guys, and make amazing content for those different audiences and those different kind of tastes. And I think it's a really smart thing to do.
Circling back to Hollywood for a second here. Yep. Hollywood right now, we talked about it earlier. What are your feelings overall? What are you hearing?
How I look at it is that, yeah, it's a tough time. I have a lot of friends that are out of work. I'm part of the union. I was part of the strikes. I was there every day. Like, I'm very pro-union. But from what I feel is that every great movement in film has come out of a time like this. So that is a Dogma 95 and Nouveau Vague, and like just all of it has come out of kind of changes in the industry that open doors to kind of innovation. And so how I look at it is I'm like, cool, what is the new ways to make film? Like what do we need to do to keep thriving in film as filmmakers? And instead of going, oh my God, there's no jobs, kind of like, how do we get innovative and smart? And how does the kind of constraint make us grow and thrive and become more imaginative in how we make film? And that's how I look at it. So I'm trying to be positive about it. And I heard a lot of that at AFM this year, which was great.
Yeah, I heard that a lot of that as well. And what I also seen is that in certain things, and like different people using different technologies, whether it's AI or otherwise, and just like getting smarter on how to create better budgets, really. And I know that's a hot topic where some people are for it, some are against it, some are lots of different ways to go there. But for me, it was like ultimately at the end of all of this, if somebody's not making money, then unfortunately it dries up. Like you don't have the opportunity to create, right? That's on some level. On some level, like there's a business behind it. It's a film business, right? And I heard a lot of talk about like ways to be more efficient, and I thought that was just a step in the right direction to getting more stuff made, like more stuff and the ability for more people to tell more stories, just like what you're doing.
Absolutely. First of all, I definitely come from the art side. Like, I am not on the business side in the same way. It's not my interest. But I think that for me, everything comes from story, and you can definitely tailor an amazing story for $5. You can do an amazing story that you can budget for $50,000 to $200,000 instead of having it be, So I think it's about what serves, creating stories that are served best by the budget that you have to play with. And then also training yourself that, everything is at your fingertips now. I mean, you can teach yourself to color correct. You can teach yourself to do post. You can be your own sound person. You can get a camera that's
YouTube.
Unbelievable. Yeah, no, but really, I mean, it's all
I know. I'm not joking. I love University of YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm just like, the smarter filmmakers are, the more control we have to make our own projects, the better off we're going to be. And I take a lot of inspiration from documentary and how docu-crews shoot. And I love that style. And I think that the filmmakers like Chloe Zhao, like she often uses small crews, like docu-style crews. And I actually love the intimacy of that. And I think you can do a lot with a little. And I think we often forget that in some ways. And we got to get back to that in a way.
Yeah. What are you working on right now? What can you talk about? What's in your pipeline?
I feel lucky to be working. I have 2 TV shows right now. One that's with a company in Brussels called Saga Film that I'll start working on in January. And then I'm in edit for a TV show called Born Again that we just shot the pilot for. And I also have a documentary, a film that I co-directed with one of my best friends that we're in post for right now and hoping to get out into the kind of film festival world next year. So it's been really fun.
You are busy. That's a good thing. Busy's good, yeah?
Thank you. I'll take it. Yes. I feel very lucky.
That's awesome. So as we head into the new year, and I'm asking this question a little bit early, November 25th, we're not even done with Thanksgiving yet. As of this recording, by the time it's out, it'll be past Thanksgiving. It must be out 5 days or so. But that being said, as we go into the new year, what's on your mind? What's on your mind as we go into 2026?
I think what's always on my mind is community, and how do you build community, and also how, right now with everything going in our country, like, I don't want like one side, the other side. I want to reach over and be like, hey, get to know us. Like, I'm a queer person, and I also love baseball, and I also am in a monogamous relationship, and I have friends that are in throuples. I mean, we're all different creatures. And I'm like, get to know us and get to know us through our stories. And that's why I want to create those. I want people to go, hey, like everyone is singular, but everyone is also part of this community. And that we all have a place here in this culture. And that I actually think it makes our country richer and not less so. I think if our country kind of becomes just a one type of thing, it's bad for everybody. It's bad for business. It's bad for art. It's bad for community. It's bad for culture. So like actually diversity is what makes things thrive and reinvent and forces innovation. And so I'm like, stop, looking down on other people and go get to know them as people. And I feel like that's what film can do for me better than anything, and with such a beautiful singularity. And so I'm really focusing on that, like trying to have those conversations and see queer films play in film festivals where often they don't, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really important to me, to kind of go out and be like, hey, all that thing you thought you knew, get to actually know me as a person, and you might learn something different about it.
That's wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, Daniel, this has been a lot of fun having you on today, man. I appreciate you making some time for us. If somebody's listening or watching this and they want to follow up, connect with you, watch your work, how do they do that?
On Instagram, I'm Daniel Cameron Talbott, Talbott, 2 T's at the end, and it's a picture of Anya Zavarda, the French filmmaker, so don't be thrown by that. So it's definitely not a picture of me.
Awesome. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes. You can go connect with Daniel. And speaking to the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Daily, meaning each and every day we bring you new content, new ideas, new interviews, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Daniel, man, appreciate you coming on. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.